should T be part of the LGBT community? We're showing you a slide about it. There's several issues going on about trans that have to do about lesbian response of trans, and also about whether the trans community is even part of the LGBT community. Should the T be there? What do y'all think about the conversations that are going on?
So, as a lesbian and having, this subject come up often, I've been on cruises, all lesbian cruises, and obviously this scenario has presented itself, and it creates a conversation that we have to look at. It's tough. It's a tough conversation because most people don't understand the trans conversation.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. I think that it's a foreign conversation for people. They don't understand it, and it's like anything we don't understand, we shy away from. Then it becomes, a microcosm within our lesbian community, and now you have women who have been standing for these safe spaces as lesbians, and then all of a sudden there's almost like a man in disguise hanging out with us. And I don't know if it's landed for the lesbian community yet that this is a human being in transition, and that who truly identifies authentically as a female, as a woman. And I think it's something that is a challenging and a challenging conversation
Josie,
to have.
I want to interrupt you to get right to the heart of the observation, the stunning observation I just heard you make about the lesbian community. Do you think in general, broad context, that the lesbian community is transphobic because the man is in the den, so to speak?
I mean, I think that that's the core of the conversation. When we have a problem as a community accepting a trans woman into the community, I hear their side. You get, that is not my position nor my opinion of it. However, I can feel safe in many scenarios in many communities.
Let me bring you back to the question, because I don't hear the answer yet. Do you think the majority of lesbian women are concerned about transitioned men to women in their community, and that they do not accept that?
Yeah, I think that it's something that's too scary for the lesbian community to really swallow.
Wow, I'm shocked by that. I, of course, I'm not trans and I'm not a lesbian, so I didn't process it that way, but that observation is shocking. Does that shock you?
It doesn't shock me, not really, because I've heard it. I've been told this. I've had my transgender sisters have been told this. I've been told by gay men that I don't belong there, by lesbians that I don't, and I certainly don't belong there. And it does, what you said rings very true, that ignorance breeds fear, and ignorance makes people shy away. Is that our time's up?
Yes.
Okay, well then here you go.
Right,
you knew damn well that was coming.
Right. All right, another drink.
The problem is that it doesn't shock me. But therein lies the problem, is the ignorance, the lack of awareness, the lack of understanding of each other. And, unfortunately, I've gotten to a point many times in my life and in my activism where I sometimes wonder if maybe we wouldn't have been better off had we broken away from the gay community. Ever since Stonewall, if not before then, the LGBT...
We'll try to land that plane. Do you think trans should be part of LGB and there should be no T?
I think the gay community has told us repeatedly throughout history that there should be no T. The LGB has fought so hard to be accepted in mainstream society that they've left the trans community like the child left behind. And gays will know the name of every single RuPaul's Drag Race queen, but not know the name of one trans woman who was killed in their own backyard that year. We celebrated your fight and your right for marriage, and we can't even get you to acknowledge the murder rate. It's got to come to a better place of understanding, and that starts with conversation, which most people are terrified to even have in the first place.
So. Wow. And I will use my chip.
Ah.
All right.
You're getting real drunk.
I'm going there.
I just want to piggyback on you because as a gay man, I've experienced on Tinder, Grindr, sometimes when you are looking for a male person, and then suddenly there's a trans woman there, and it's not that I don't accept it. It's just it takes a little time for understanding and to get used to it, and I'm learning as I go. Do you know what I mean? It's not that I don't accept it. It's just that sometimes you're looking for this, and then suddenly it's like, oh, it's not expected, so it takes me for a shock. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's learning as you go, and then there's rallying against something that you don't understand.
Got it.
And that's the primary difference there.
Heard you.
You know, I have to. We're going to move on. We're going to play a game here in a moment. But I have to tell you, and Chris, you don't have to ring the bell. I have to tell you, it's okay.
That was petty.
Funny.
That was petty.
Production just said.
That was on purpose.
Yeah,
That was shady.
production just said, "Shut up, Al." Okay, I got it. All right.
Why is she still talking?
It's exactly right. It's interesting to me, and again, I say this repeatedly. I said this at the host meeting today. I'm very proud of it's happening out. I'm very proud of these conversations. I don't think in a talking situation these kind of conversations are going on in America, and especially in the gay community. It is so easy for us to turn outside of the community and go, there's the enemy, there's the enemy, there's the enemy. And in many instances, we're in a situation where we've talked about race tonight in terms of what we do in our own community. Now we're talking about lesbian and trans, of what we do in our own community. And it's a very challenging situation, of which I'm sure we're going to continue to talk about.